Okay, a buddy of mine has asked me to build something for him. He's got a Honda Pioneer side-by-side that has back seats that flip up on it, and he'd like a cage built around the back so he can still haul stuff whenever the seats are flipped up. I've got some aluminum tubing here. I've got my handy dandy Evolution chop saw, and I'm gonna cut up some steel. Got some plans that I just kind of drew up, and we'll see what happens. Okay, I've cut out some of the pieces here. This is the basic shape of the side of the thing. It's got a little bit of an angle here to match up to the angle of the seats laid back against it. I've got to dress up the edges a little bit with the flap disc, and then I think I can burn this guy together, and then I've got most of the pieces cut for the other side and the back, but I'll zip this one together and make sure it's square, and then try and make another one that matches it. We'll see how it goes. So yesterday I got really excited after I cleaned up the edges on this guy, and I set up the spool gun on my welder so that I could do aluminum, and I got super excited, and I didn't bother, clamping it down very well or anything like that, and just threw some booger welds on there. But I didn't have my welder set up properly. I actually had this dial here turned all the way down, because the last thing that I was doing was some really light steel, and I think this was even set on auto set. I don't really know, but really small steel, and so the gun was kicking back on me and doing weird stuff, and I didn't do any tests because, like I said, I got really excited. So I ground off those welds, and I'm going to do a little test weld on this little piece over here so that I can get my stuff set up right, and then I can actually I want to tack this together and then go over and test fit it and see if it fits properly, or if I need to do any adjustments to it. We'll see what happens. There we go. I think we got her dialed in. Let's see. This side here was not enough heat, and kind of just crappy wire speed. Over here, wire speed's too slow. Heat's good though. And then right there, up above, the heat is good, and wire speed is a little bit fast. And then flip over here, and I got the wire speed just about where I want it. Good looking bead there. This stuff smokes up and gets kind of gross. I could probably increase my gas rate a little bit to clean that up, but I went ahead and tacked this up, and then I'm gonna take it over and see if I can't test fit it. Okay, I've got all the other pieces cut out and beveled, and I want to make it exactly the same as the other piece. I went and test fit it. It fits all right. So yeah, got her all clamped to the other one, and I'm going to tack it together, and then I can burn them the rest of the way together. It's going to be awesome. There we go. Got them tacked together. They look pretty good. The welds are, for the most part, they're bubbling up too high. There, whenever I got the metal hot enough, like it seems like I'm not getting enough heat in there, but once I got it hot enough, then the weld seems to go in. But some of these are just kind of sitting on the top. This one here looks fairly decent for little tacks. This one here is just, sorry, this one here is not as good. So I'll grind them, re-weld them, make it strong like bull. But they are pretty asymmetrical. Like they both look the same, so it's dandy. Okay, I've got all the side pieces welded up and smoothed out. Now I've got to weld the back pieces, the crossbars to it, and across there. Some of my welds didn't turn out super great, but that's okay. Some of them did turn out really pretty good. This inside corner here was really hard to weld too. Let's see if I can focus that. and I realized far too late that my wire speed was too slow. There we go, focus. Nice. Yeah, my wire speed was too slow and it was burning back and melting and dripping off. And then once I got my wire speed fast enough, come on, focus. You can do it. Yeah, then they were able to clean up nicely and looked pretty good. Across the top there. On the sides here, I welded in the grooves there, ground that down so it's nice and smooth, both sides. But yeah, just got to clamp it up and stick it together there, and then I think she'll be done. Well, I got it all tacked together. Now I just need to go in and burn in all those pieces, get that all cleaned up and finished up. I got some of them done, but I ran out of argon, ran out of gas. So I'll have to go get that little guy filled up. In case you wanted to see what it looks like whenever you try and weld without shielding gas, weld aluminum, you end up with this ugly mess right there. So it just spatters and spurts and pukes and does all kinds of terrible stuff. So, as well as it'll burn up your tip a bit there. So I'm gonna get some more tips and get some more gas and finish this guy up tomorrow. Alright, I went and got some more gas and I welded this guy up. Got the back piece there all welded on, looking good. There and there. As well as I made up some little tabs here, because the bed of the side-by-side has got some little D-rings in the floor of it. And what I figured I'd do is take a bolt and run up through that D-ring and a little 3/8 with the washer and a nut and hold that in there in place just like that. I'm actually gonna, I thought about, you know, buying bolts or whatever, but bolts are expensive. So I've got some ready rod here and I've got some little plates, and I'm just gonna make my own little bolts because they need a fat head on them, and I think that'll work better. As well, I made a minor upgrade to the old welding helmet here, little LED styles. Get that up on there so I can see what I'm welding. That'll help out a bunch. For these little tabs, these little bolt holders, I just took the 1-inch tubing and cut it diagonally and cut just a little piece and welded her on there. She looks pretty good. I'll make up some bolts and we'll see what we can make here. Okay, I think she's about done. I made up my little bolts here. Just a little piece of flat steel, drill a hole in it, stick your ready rod through there, weld her up, grind her down, make her look pretty. That should sit just underneath there, through the D-ring, up through the top there. Little washer, little nut. Do that on both sides and she's attached. I'll try and take this over to the Honda dealership tomorrow and see if she fits or whatnot. Alright, so we're out at the camp out. Here's the dirty old Honda Pioneer 704, and as you can see, it's got seats that flip up here in the back, and what that causes is not a lot of storage room back here. Anything that's going to ride on here is going to fall off the tailgate pretty dang quick. So what I did is I Got my homemade bolts here, stuck in through the D-ring, like so. So they stick up nice and tall, like so. Nice and like that. And then you take the old apparatus here, with its little clips on the sides. You pick her up. You stick her right on top of the bolt here. On this side, if you can see that. It goes in there. Same thing on the other side. Just stick that guy right through there, and then put the old nuts on her. Oh shit, this one came out. There you go. Put that guy on there like so. Jeez Louise, what am I doing? There we go. Got that guy on there like so. A little washer action. A little nut. And the other side. Let's see here. A little washer. A little nut action. There you go. And she sits right there. She ain't gonna go too far. Backwards anyway. She might jiggle around a little bit. We had to lengthen these cables here because the tailgate stuck up like that. So we want that level. So we just added a little bit of strapping on there and bolted that to it. But all in all, she's pretty good. We're going to take her out tomorrow and trail test her. Well, we got her loaded up with a couple coolers, some stuff. She made it down the dirt road to get here, so far so good. Well, she's still on there. We've been heading down trails kind of like this for the last hour or so, and she hasn't moved an inch. Super. Well, we just got that quad pulled out, but the side-by-side's still in the mud hole. You know, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna get somebody to hook onto this thing and drag her out of there a little bit, winch her out. Yaha! Well, we're still stuck. Jesus. There, we got her out. It only took a quad and a side-by-side to pull out the side-by-side. Yeah! There you go. Grab a hold of that. You don't have to push any buttons or anything. It's already recording. Just don't drop it. Passing through the trees. Coming up on their butts. Come on, tree! Ah! Hi there! Well, she made the journey. Got a little muddy. Didn't move at all. I stayed behind it most of the time. They were quadding there, and yeah, she seemed to perform pretty well. Okay, we just got back from our quadding trip, and the bed extender here held up quite nicely. I was very proud of it. Figured I'd give you some measurements on it. First off, is the length is 21 inches from there to the point up here. The bolt hole there is at 15 inches. The height is 11 inches. The width is 36 3/4. The bolts were a key factor to the success, I believe. So they went right into the D-ring and held this thing in place really nicely. The dimensions on this piece, and this was just a scrap piece of steel that already had a hole in it, and so I just put the all thread through there and welded her up. But it's 2 inches by 1 inch, and the bolt itself is 2.5 inches, and that's 3/8 all thread that I used there. The slope on the front part of it here is 20 degrees as opposed to 90 on the back. The welds held up really nicely. So far, no cracking. I believe it did twist a little bit, but I think everything is solid and in there together. Haven't seen any cracks or other dysfunctions with it. It's a little bit dirty, but I mean, that's what happens whenever you're on the trail, right? Anyway, all in all, I'm really proud of it, and I think it works pretty good. Let me know if you want one.